I'm going to call this dish chicken puttanesca. And for anybody that knows what Puttanesca means, you'll know that it's really not referred to in polite company. And let me tell you what I mean by that. This dish, Puttanesca alla Puttana, there's a name for that. It translates from the Italian that, let's see, what can we call it here in America? We call it ladies that work in the evening in the streets for a living. How's that? So the way this dish comes about is along the coast of Italy, there's a bunch of, obviously, fishermen. Well, the fishermen would be out all day, or weeks, or days, or whatever the case may be, and when they'd come back, there'd be ladies waiting for them, and not necessarily always their wives. And what they would do is they'd have this big pot of fish, almost like a soup, like a soup, or a soup going. And if you weren't working, there was a big pot of fish, and the fishermen would eat from the pot sometimes, and the dish became known as kind of whatever you had laying around, you kind of threw in the pot for the communal stew. So it's been called Puttanesca ever since. I think it's kind of interesting that most folks don't know where the name comes from, and I think if you did, you'd probably want to call it something else. But what's inherent in all the incarnations of this dish is garlic, olives, capers, a little spice. We have some roasted or some dried pepper flakes, and anchovies. Now, the anchovies I have here are not like those little eyebrows you see at home. You get out of the can in the store. These are alicis. They are white anchovies imported from Italy. We've got some chicken breasts. We're going to start to go on one side. We get it going a little bit. Now I'm going to add some garlic. And garlic, I think, Jesse, our camera guy over here, was teasing me earlier. He said, wait a minute, Italian guy doesn't want to add garlic to a dish. But I don't think garlic goes in everything necessarily. I think this dish, it absolutely does. So we've got our garlic. We've got some shallots. I'm going to add a little red pepper. I want to spice this up just a little bit. Then I've got, in here, I've got some really good Sicilian olives, the green. I've got some sliced black olives, and I've got some capers. And again, if you buy capers, capers are packed in salt and brine. Make sure you rinse them really well so you get all that saltiness out of it. And capers, though, if you buy some of the larger, don't buy those little tiny ones you see in the market. Buy some larger capers, a bunch of different types. A little bit of white wine, but the capers themselves, again, have some really, really great flavor, and it'd be kind of shame not to put the capers and the anchovies in here. Got the capers, we got that spice, woo! A little bit of that pepper just hit me in the nose. I'm going to take the alici, and what we're going to do is we're going to start it off to the side, and it's going to end up breaking. Oh, the pepper's good. We're going to break that down. It's just going to kind of cook and fall apart and blend all into our wine so far. Back here, I've got just a little bit of a chicken stock, and again, if you're cooking at home and you don't have chicken stock, you go to the market, buy a broth of some kind, make sure you get the low sodium. You want to use water, that's fine. I've got some fresh tomato sauce. In this pan, I've got marinara. If you've got a favorite in the jar, what are you doing? But it's better than not doing the dish at all, I guess. So if you want to use that, that's fine. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to mix this up a little bit. It's something different. A little bit of butter in the pan. What I've got is forbidden rice. What I mean by that is we've got this black rice. This is naturally occurring. It's black. It's exactly what it is. And it's from China. And back in the day of the emperor, when the emperor really held sway, black rice was special. It was eaten only by Chinese royalty. And for everybody else, it didn't matter who you were. If you weren't Chinese nobility, you were forbidden from eating this rice. So there you go, forbidden rice. A little bit of butter, warm pan. We're going to let that rice go. I've par-cooked our rice so we could pick up a little speed. And that's a great little way when you're cooking at home. Not only have everything chopped and ready to go, get all that work done, and then everything just kind of goes to the pan and flows and cooks real quick. Some of those things where you can kind of cook them ahead of time. The rice, we par-cook it. Now here I'm just doing a little butter, a little white wine. I'm going to get that on a medium flame. I'll grab just a little chicken stock for that. Okay, we'll let this go for a minute. I'm going to add a little bit of chicken stock here to go with our white wine. This is going to go for a minute. I'm going to add a little bit of our marinara. If you want to add some basil, I've got it in my tomato sauce, but basil would be great. Here we've got our rice going. As you can see, we've got the wine. See how we get now this little bit of like a purple broth leaching out of there? That's awesome. We'll go here, right there. Chicken number 1, chicken breast number 2. Look at that. See, I got enough here for probably about 2 orders. Some of the olives. And see, again, you can't see the anchovy. The anchovy just kind of melted right through. So the flavor's there. It's a light tomato sauce, but you're going to taste the olives. You're going to taste the shallots, a little bit of that red pepper. Okay, a little black rice. You want to use mashed potatoes at home, that's fine. I tell you what, for me, killer. A great dish, chicken puttanesca with forbidden rice, another simple one. And again, all right, I use 2 pans, so what? Big deal. You know what? Simple, easy to do. The key is have some nice tomato sauce you like. Make it, buy a jar. Don't let it keep you from doing the dish. You're at the deli counter, you see some really great olives. Think about all the dishes that you can make with just what's in your fridge floating around. Today I had some chicken, did a little a la Puttanesca style. Means the way the ladies down by the wharf would do it. I'll leave you with that note.